Good evening. It's just about sunset here on Capitol Hill, and I'm checking out the neighborhoods. We're here at the corner of 3rd Street and Independence Avenue. Sorry, I had to look behind me there. At the German American Building Association. I don't have a year on this, but I love it. What a great corner unit here that used to be a building association or a little community bank for the Germans who lived here on Capitol Hill. We're just a block behind the Library of Congress building. We're going to take a look in the neighborhood first, and then we'll go up to the main buildings in this area. So I'm walking north on 3rd Street. We are in northeast Washington, D.C. You have heard me begin and end every video telling everyone that I'm in northwest D.C. most of the time. I'm in northeast because we are east of the Capitol building. So this is 3rd Street northeast. So Washington, D.C. can be a little confusing if you don't know which quadrant of the city you're in. So if you say go to 6th and M Street, you want to make sure you know whether that's northeast or southeast or northwest or southwest. So you make sure you go to the right place. So this building continues here, and it says Germania or Germania above the door. And you'll also notice there is a historical marker on this building. Indicating that it is part of a conservation easement here on Capitol Hill. And this is beautiful. Really nice at sunset too. Catching those lanterns flanking the door. Beautiful. So we're going to keep walking north here on 3rd Street. We'll catch a quick glimpse of the ever-present construction over there on part of the Library of Congress building. But right here we go from busy heart of the nation's capital to beautiful residential area. Hi, obscured visionary. We're in Washington, D.C. We're on Capitol Hill, and we'll walk around. We'll actually finish the stream at the Capitol, but you can kind of see one of the office buildings, one of the Capitol office buildings, the Library of Congress. But we're going to take a walk through this little neighborhood first. This one has a name. It's the Ryden House. Well, I'm glad, obscured visionary. I walk around when I can after work, usually one evening a week, and on weekends, Saturday or Sunday in the morning. So I'm glad you could join me. Thank you so much. Hi, Alendria. Hello. Now this one is what we would definitely call the federal style architecture. Beautiful brick. You got the shutters going and the simple lintels above the door. If it were more ornamented, it would be Georgian, but that's federal style. And then here a mix a little later, probably later in the 1800s. Here with the beautiful bay windows. Now, I've heard them called bow windows and bay windows. I think that's a bay window, and I think this one next door is a bow window because it goes all the way up, but I could be completely wrong. And here in Washington, we're all also almost in full spring where we can plant our annuals. One more week would be safe. We can still have a frost. Love that one. And here, I think this is a peony. That's quite beautiful. I have some of those. I bought some peonies. They bloom really quickly, and then all the petals fall off quite quickly too. And then this one. And in this area, you do typically get these nice little yards in front. This one with the wooden clapboards, probably quite older than the others. But we have the azaleas blooming here. Oh, thank you, Obscured. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I kind of don't like my voice sometimes, but I appreciate that. But here you can be in the middle of a super busy city and find some peace. And here on the corner, the community church, St. Mark's Episcopal Church. And we're getting blue sky now. It was dreary earlier today, but now we're getting the blue sky. It looks beautiful. Don't worry about it. Thank you. Have a good night. Catching the golden hour at sunset. It's the best way to photograph. And so we've got the first wave of blooms here on these roses. These will bloom many times over the course of the summer. Oh, thank you, Alendria. Thank you so much. That's really kind of you. I appreciate it. St. Mark's Episcopal Church. It doesn't say. We're going to find out what year this was built because we have a historic marker here. My favorite thing to find. St. Mark's Church was set aside as the pro-cathedral of the Diocese of Washington, yada yada. 1896. Okay, 1896. Got it. Got it and good. And we're on A Street now. Take a little walk down A Street and then we'll maybe we'll go up around the Folger Shakespeare Library. Hey, Ben. I'm so glad to see you. Doing a little residential walk here right behind Capitol Hill. You wouldn't know it, right? Heart of the nation's capital. And yet, this is a great place to walk. Beautiful homes, beautiful gardens. We've got a lot of blooms going on here right now. So I'm just gonna circle around this block and then we will head up to the Capitol. And we have more buildings designated as historic easements. So that means that the owners have to keep the historic aesthetic of these buildings. And it's one of these sidewalks again, so I'm gonna walk extra slowly here while we take in the sights and the gardens. I'm just so impressed by all these roses we're seeing. This is a little early for roses. So we're seeing roses and peonies, pansies. Pansies are the norm. And this one has the stained glass above the transom and above the window. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful gardens. Now, I don't mind the painted brick at all. I think the mix of painted brick and natural brick is a nice combination and it helps to set off the different architecture. So I'm good with that. Ooh, I love alleys. I do love walking through an alley. Maybe we'll do that on the way back. Got lavender going here. Oh my gosh, I can smell it. But these buildings, you know, we're obviously, hey, Daryl! Daryl, I'm in a residential area. I can't shout too much. But these homes were obviously built for, you know, the early leaders of our country, right? So this was prime real estate right behind our nation's capital building, the Capitol building, not the capital city. We're in the capital city, but the Capitol building is right behind me. And we'll walk right over there as soon as we finish enjoying these homes. The other great thing about this neighborhood is as soon as work is done for the day, These neighborhoods are quiet. You can get a parking spot. You can walk around. You can enjoy the architecture. You can enjoy the nice people. All right, got some rehab going on here, everywhere. And that's good because these obviously this area is in demand. Beautiful gardens. What a lovely place to live. And over here, the allium looks like they're either done or they haven't bloomed yet. I think maybe the first wave is done for the allium here. And then more just vibrant roses on this big, huge corner unit. This would have been, like back in the day, this would have been a mansion, 100%. Probably costs as much as a mansion does today. And then right next door, you get the blue painted brick. Beautiful. Thank you, Alendria. It's really great to meet you. I love the mix of the, as I mentioned, the natural brick. You'll get blue, you'll get beige. A natural brick with green shutters is very nice. Every once in a while you get the gas lamps that make this such a lovely neighborhood for walking, except for the sidewalks that are just slightly a little bit dangerous. More stained glass here above the windows. A really interesting back porch here. And all of these properties, or at least most of them, governed by historic standards that should be maintained. Right, so we've walked north another block and we're up to East Capitol Street. And when I turn the corner, you'll find out why it's called East Capitol Street. Beautiful little garden here. Look at that. And that's just lovely. Lots of cyclists. Not always the most prudent people to share the road with, the cyclists here. This is the Prominco House of the Chickasaw Nation. Well, there you go. Beautiful. These nice front yards. Prime real estate back then and prime real estate today. Alendria, thank you for joining. I'm so glad you were here. I hope to see you again sometime. Now, I don't have dates. I often do these things I don't plan. I didn't do any research, but my guess is that the wooden structure and this brick structure are probably the older structures on this block, with such a beautiful garden. Beautiful. And across the way, let's see if I can get into the street carefully. Across the way, the John Jay Hotel. Obscured by tree here. And then another building here. So amid the residential buildings here. Some buildings that were purpose-built as hotels and boarding houses back in the day. To accommodate all the visitors to our nation's capital. And the reason this is called East Capitol Street is because there's the Capitol. I'm not going to stay in the middle of the street for very long, don't worry. I don't trust the cyclists. But another blue painted one. Beautiful. I love the fact that we have so many trees, but they do get in the way of a good picture sometimes. Now here, to my left, is the Folger Shakespeare Library. Washington, D.C. has a wonderful tradition and history with Shakespeare. The Folger Library, the Shakespeare Theater Company. I just, at the Shakespeare Theater Company, I just saw a production of Uncle Vanya, not a Shakespearean play, starring Hugh Bonneville. He was amazing. Lord Grantham himself. He was amazing. So for those of you who are historians, genealogists, and you have trouble deciphering Old English handwriting, the Folger Shakespeare Library, and this is also the Folger Theater, the Folger Shakespeare Library online has guides to help you translate English into English. Paleography, which is the deciphering of ancient handwriting. It says ancient, but old handwriting is paleography. And this is a great resource for historians, for genealogists, anyone trying to decipher the old handwriting. But yeah. This is an absolute beautiful building. It was under renovation for quite a long time, but you can walk around the building around the front and look at all the relief sculptures from all of Shakespeare's works. There are also sculptures in the back. So a Midsummer Night's Dream, Romeo and Juliet. See if they have my favorite here. The Merchant of Venice, The Tragedy of Macbeth, The Tragedy of Julius Caesar, The Tragedy of King Lear. I mean, it's hard to say you have a favorite Shakespeare, though. It's really unfair because there are so many amazing Shakespearean works. The Life and Death of King Richard III, The Tragedy of Hamlet, the first part of Henry IV. So my favorite is not on this side of the wall. My favorite is Henry V. Oh, for a muse of fire that would ascend the brightest heaven of invention. Okay, I'll stop now, I promise. I am a fan. So we're just steps behind the Library of Congress, steps away from the United States Capitol. And this is the Folger Shakespeare Library. And we'll walk over here to get a good view of the building. It's about 70 degrees. It is beautiful. It was, it stormed earlier today. It stormed yesterday. You can see those clouds are kind of ominous, but you can also see the sunset peering through for a really nice night. This building here, this is the back of the United States Supreme Court. It's the back side of it. I mean, I don't think anyone, you don't have to be a fan of architecture to appreciate this city, in particular this part of this city, with all that it has to see. We're going to walk in front of the library. And as I've mentioned before, do they have dumpsters? Yeah, they probably do. I'm sure they do. As I mentioned before, Washington, D.C. is so easy to navigate. It's a grid. You can't get lost. And these markers are everywhere. Markers, signposts, historic plaques with interpretive information are everywhere. Plus, there are really helpful people. Both tourists and people who work here are super helpful. Don't hesitate to visit. And I often say, don't worry about the parking. You'll find parking. It's not bad. You can always find parking. Cones. Yes, we have traffic cones. Yes, we have traffic cones. How dare you think we don't have traffic cones here? We have plenty of traffic cones and yellow tape. There is always construction, but that's a good thing. This is the side of the Library of Congress building. So we're coming around to the front, and the side of the United States Supreme Court. I think the Supreme Court is the one building that when I saw it as a kid, but when I saw it when I was older, I was like, wow, that's a small building. I guess just because Supreme Court, you think it's like the biggest court building in the world. It's not. It's relatively, seems small to me. Let me put it that way. It seems small to me, relatively. Also, gardens over there. I won't go across there. Should I? Yeah, I will. I won't get hit. But we'll get a good view of the Capitol right here. Well, good. I'm glad you're back, Alendria. Great view of the Capitol building right here. We'll just take a sneaky peek over at the Supreme Court garden and then work our way over to the Capitol building. Let's see if we can walk up here. I think we can. We can. There was some significant restoration going on here a few months ago when I was here and did a live stream. And there was scaffolding around the front of the building. And I don't think you could get up here. So now, look, maybe they've also done something to the sidewalk, which is great. I know the lighting's not perfect. It is sunset. But I always think that gives it an interesting vibe. Oh, that's a good picture. I'm gonna take a picture. Hold on, stream. It's going to stutter. All right, I'm back. I'm hoping you all are back. Yeah, Alendri, it halts when I take photos. And I can't give up a photo with perfect lighting. And these are those peonies again. They're so great, but they bloom really fast and then everything all the petals just plop. I have them in my house right now and they were good for 2 days and then they just plopped. And the roses. All kinds of stuff going on here. But this is just another quiet spot here in a very busy part of Washington, D.C. Hostas are great for this region. They just grow like crazy. I don't know what those are, those pink things, but they're quite beautiful. Oh, and there's some pink peonies. My grandmother loved those, and I think it's because they really don't last very long. You know, they bloom bold and then they go. And there's one little lonely black-eyed Susan there. That little yellow flower, which is the state flower of Maryland. Rudbeckia. And there's some irises. Oh, and I can really smell the roses here. Oh, how wonderful. Oh, Ben, that sounds lovely. I had beautiful. Oh no. Okay, the scaffolding still is. I thought it was gone. It's not. Hello, Annette. Yeah, so the scaffolding is still here in front of the Supreme Court building, but that's okay. We've got plenty to see and at least 10 more minutes of light before nighttime hits. And yeah, we won't go there. When the scaffolding has been removed, we will definitely check out the Supreme Court. But over here, the Library of Congress, that word, be a friend, I am a friend of the library. I am definitely a friend of the library. Thursday evenings, they have events at the Library of Congress. They are fantastic. If you're in the area on a Thursday night, you need to check it out. Oh, and the streetlights just came on. Yay. So let's take a walk here. Check out the Capitol. Now, when I was here for the funerals of President, or the viewings for President Bush and President Carter when they were lying in state, both of which were like the coldest night of the year ever. They had the barriers here, kind of those winding gates with a queue that went from the end of the street all the way to the end of the street and back 4 times. 4 times. Up and back and up and back. And then the line wound down here to go into the entrance, the visitor's entrance, and then to the rotunda. It was, quite, as you can imagine, quite a moving experience. And once in a lifetime. And both times I came like late at night, like 10 o'clock at night, and then just was here all night long. I think the first time I got home at 2:30. I think I probably got here about 9 that time. And then for President Carter just last year, I got home at 4:30 a.m. But I wouldn't change a thing. Glad to be here with other people, very respectfully paying respects. I was worried that there would be some crazies around, and there weren't. No protesters, just people paying their respects honorably. So, got the U.S. Capitol right here. I'm not going to aim purposely at them, but there are sharpshooters on the roof. You might catch a glimpse of 1 or 2 walking around up there. But they keep us safe. So I've done these streams, and people in my chat will say, oh my God, you can't walk up there. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Here I am. I'm walking up here. I'm walking up here because this is the people's house. The that means it belongs to us in America. Those of us who are here in America, who are Americans, who are good tax-paying citizens. This is our place. Early in the morning, this is a great place to run. Yeah, you run up the steps. Yeah, you sing the song. I don't think I can sing it. I think it's copyright. But that Schoolhouse Rock song. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only the bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Actually, I'm stranded here on Capitol Hill. All right, here is East Capitol Street. Would run right here. So this is where we came from, East Capitol Street, walking west toward the Capitol. And there's the Library of Congress over there. And there's the Supreme Court covered in scaffold, but that's okay. This is quite beautiful and quite peaceful. And I'm just going to be a little quiet. How am I not scared to talk in front of people? Well, because I'm talking to you. And you all are quite friendly to me, so I'm not worried about that. I wouldn't just be talking in front of anyone, but I'm talking to you all, my friends. I love these lanterns. And in the front of the building, there are different designs in the front, from the front to the back. So these are newer here in the, is this the back? This is the back, right? This is the back of the Capitol, I think. Oh, I need to know, is this the front or the back? What do we call this? I think we call this the back. I think the front is what faces the mall, but I could be really, really wrong. I could be wrong. I'm gonna look that up. Now the design here is absolutely classical. No dumpsters, so it must be the front. No, they hide those underground. They hide those underground. Take a quick second and take a photo real quick. Stand back again.
Yeah.
How dare they? I know they hide their trash. They do. They do. So the reason this is called Capitol Hill is because we're on top of the hill. And for those who do get to work here and get a window, which is very few people, or if anyone can get up there, boy, they would get a wonderful view. They would get an absolutely fantastic view of this entire city because we're here on top of the hill. And it's the people's house. And we can enjoy it, as lots of people are right now. Do you have kids? If so, where are they? They're old enough to take care of themselves. I finished working about an hour and a half ago, and rather than sit in traffic, because there's a lot of traffic, I often take a walk. And then in a little while, there won't be any traffic. And then a lot quicker to go home. That's quite a nice view. All right. Now, we will walk back in front of the scaffold-covered Supreme Court building and perhaps check out a restaurant or two. Can you go inside? You can, but you have not at this time. It's closed now because this is evening time. But yeah, you can go through the visitor center. I'll walk there in a second. You can go through the visitor center and you can have a tour. And I've never done an actual guided tour in the Capitol. I've been in the Capitol a few times, but I've not done the tour. So someday I really do need to take the guided tour. Underneath the Capitol building here, and this is where our Congress is, which is our House of Representatives, and our Senate. Underneath this building, there are tunnels and little tramways, because some of these big buildings on the side you can't see here are the office buildings for all the senators. They don't have offices here in the Capitol. They have offices all around. And so there's a tunnel system to get them to and from the voting floor, the chamber, without having to cross the street. So there's a really good view of the Library of Congress. Hi, Tay. Well, it's great to meet you from New Zealand. Well, we're in Washington, D.C. We're at our nation's capital here. Great to meet you. And that's the Library of Congress. But yeah, here's the walkway down to the visitor center. So that's how you would get in for your tour. And I'm guessing, but I have to be right about this. I think there's a gift shop down there too. There's always a gift shop. But there are guided, I do need to do the guided tours. Yes, Daryl, cones, there are cones. So we're gonna head up, so this is East Capitol Street, obviously, because we are east of the Capitol, which is just looking absolutely beautiful as the sun is almost done for the day. East Capitol Street. And I think we're gonna walk up to my favorite street. You've heard me say it a million times, Massachusetts Avenue. Now, there are no embassies down here. We won't go on an embassy rant. We are in Northeast DC right now. And in fact, if I just do this, hang on a second. If I just do this, if I cross this walkway, which is the street here, if I cross East Capitol Street, now I'm in Southeast DC. So this is the north-south dividing line. East Capitol Street, North Capitol and South Capitol Street. There is not a West Capitol Street. So now I'm in Southeast DC. Oh, Alendria, you're in Mississippi. Wonderful. So you're an hour behind. So it's 8:19. It just turned 8:19 here. As you can see from the street sign there, it says First Street, Unit. So this is First Street, Southeast Washington, D.C. And now we've got proof that I've just walked from northeast to southeast. Okay, now we're gonna walk to Northeast DC. Don't worry, it's only a few steps away. But I'll give you the better view as I walk across the street. Capitol Visitor Center, open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30, as well as Saturdays. I did not know that. Closed on Sundays. And now you see, I'm in Northeast DC. First Street, Northeast Unit. Ben, did you have those terrible, I don't think you had the storms yesterday. We had quite a powerful bunch of storms come close to here yesterday, and then one big drencher today. But I was watching all the all the storm chasers on TV yesterday. Not hurricane hunters, what am I saying? Oh, is it raining there, Alendria? Oh, we need rain here. I'm okay with the rain. I don't like the wind, besides the fact that it messes up my streaming. So this is the United States Supreme Court. This isn't the way it always looks, of course, although I do think that's quite an elegant way to do scaffolding, so that it's sort of transparent and has those beautiful lights. We tried to visit this a few, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago. I know it was cold, and it still looked like this. So this is a long-term restoration, and I'm all for it. Restoration is good. It actually sounds like they're blasting it with water like now. Like, I mean, you can see the water running down. I'm sure you can't hear it, but at the very top, like the top level of the scaffolding, you can see a guy in a yellow vest doing the washing. So that's cool. Yeah, the carvings are beautiful. Carvings, it would say equal justice under the law if you could see it. But that's what it says up there. And it's just beautiful. I love these lamps. I'm a lamppost gal. I think these are gorgeous. I don't know what D2 is. Is that a thing? Is that heavy duty industrial cleaner? Because if it is, they wouldn't be using that, Daryl. They would not be using that. And I think this is good old, no, this is Maryland Avenue. So Washington, D.C. is built on a grid with a wheel and spoke. So kind of like Paris, right? The streets are in a grid. So you've got the letters running east-west, lateral, and you've got numbers going north-south, longitudinal. But then you have these nice traffic circles in certain areas, and then the main arteries that go kind of crisscross and connect the traffic circles are usually states. So there's New York Avenue, Massachusetts Avenue, we just passed Maryland Avenue, Louisiana, Nebraska. I'm not going to go through all of them. We've walked down Wyoming. We've walked down California. And there's definitely a generator running over here. Oh, used on headstones. Okay. That makes sense. I need to do some checking on my ancestors' grave sites. Make sure the headstones are still okay. Found one a few years ago, completely toppled over. It happens. There is a cave system all through America then, probably. All right, we'll try to get away from this generator thing happening over here. This is the best time of the evening. Like if you're just walking here, okay, if maybe we'll pass by the German restaurant just to see how busy they are. And if they're not busy, maybe we'll take a little bite at the German restaurant. But it is getting late. We'll see. We'll see. But this time of night, it's like it's darker here than it appears on camera, which I love. I think my photos and my videos at this very time of night, I don't know, I think they look pretty cool. Now I know these police lights are going to be annoying here. Try to film in the opposite direction. But these are some of the office buildings. I don't think I'm supposed to cross here, but I'm gonna. This So this is the Hart Senate office building here. And the other ones are Longworth and Durskin and I forget the other ones. All right, I'm trying to. And another side view of the Supreme Court building. So I'm just gonna go around the corner, see what the German restaurant is looking like. And then I need to head home because I've got to do this all again tomorrow. All of it. This is the National Women's Party headquarters. Well, good on ya, National Women's Party headquarters. Obviously historic building here. Hard to get it all in the shot. This is not an area where I can just jump out in the street. Not gonna do that. Oh, and over here though, I do know what this building is. This is the national headquarters of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the VFW. And that sculpture, if it were a little sunnier, you would see that that sculpture on each side commemorates every war that Americans have fought in. We'll come back another time. I have done a short about that. So one of my shorts. Short videos, I should say. Wow, I have 11 watching. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining my channel. Say hi in the chat. We are such a friendly bunch here. We absolutely love to get to know each other and where we're from. And what kinds of bits of history do you enjoy? And what kind of history is in the places where you live? We're walking through the residential area, sort of residential area, around Capitol Hill. Is this on the East Coast? Yes, we're in Washington, D.C. Hello, Juan. We're in Washington, D.C. We just looked at the Capitol building, the Supreme Court, the Folger Shakespeare Library, and some other buildings, as well as some of the residences in this neighborhood. So I'm really happy that you joined. Usually these videos take a full day to render, so I don't post them right away because they're very low resolution. So it takes about a year, good Lord. It takes about a day to render, and then I post them the next day. Unless I do something silly, like walk in front of a radio blaring Bruno Mars music and I forget to talk over it, and then I get a copyright claim. In those cases, I can't post those videos. So we've had that happen. We've had that happen. And you're hearing the fountains in the back of the Hart Senate office building, but you can't really see them from here. Can't really see them. Beautiful church here. We'll get in front of it and we'll take a moment to admire the stained glass. And I may have been a little too ambitious about going to the German restaurant because it's still quite a ways from here and I've walked quite a bit. So this is St. Joseph's on Capitol Hill Roman Catholic Church, with the stained glass lit from the inside as it should be. That's quite beautiful. And we'll just make our way up here. and see how much farther I can go before I feel like I've started to gone. Let me try that again. Before I start to feel like I have gone too far. Maybe I could just peek in the restaurant. I don't know, it's still a few blocks from here. I think I was over ambitious. Capitol Hill's a pretty big area. I think what I will do is just get back to the main road up here. And we'll take a peek that way. You can just barely see the roof over there, that kind of curved roof. That's Union Station. And we're not going to go all the way up there. Maybe we can't do that. But we can just look up here. Oh, okay, I got the green. 201 on Capitol Hill. Nope. That place has seen its better days, for sure. Seen its better days. Now we're on, what street are we on? I don't even know. I believe this is Massachusetts Avenue up here. More beautiful residences. Union Pub. All right, no music going on here, which is great. The first bit of lands or papa here was Ameni and Amara of the 7 feathers and the 7 eagles. They started the starting to the beginning of time. They call America and South. That belongs to 7A times E times H. That's wonderful, Tay. Thank you for sharing that. That is really beautiful. And thank you for joining from New Zealand. It's playoff time. And the Washington Capitals are playing. All right, we're going to carefully make our way over here. And I do see the German restaurant in a distance. I may have to Uber back to my car, literally. I've walked a lot. I have walked a lot. Cones, Daryl, these are cones. You want cones? These are cones. These are big cones. And this is like a really dangerous way to have people cross the street. Yeah, Daryl, these are cones, man. I'm telling you. You think you know cones? These are cones. All right, so there's the pizza place. Well, we're going to the German place. We're going German. And yeah, I'm crossing against the light. Nope, can't cross against that light. Darn! Lost my way. And this is the pizza joint on 3rd Street and Massachusetts Avenue. But we're heading over there. We're heading over there, across the way. Ooh, we've got to wait. 45 seconds for this light to change. That's a long time. That is a long time. Okay, so we may just order something to take home. Maybe a strudel. I need sauerkraut. I need a sauerkraut salad. Like, that's what I'm going for. But yeah, it's that place over there. It's the place over there with the awning. And I don't know why the name escapes me. I've been there 100 times, and right now the name completely escapes me. Oh darn, I wanted to get a shot of that bus. So for those of you who know me, you know I'm a Battlestar Galactica fan. And you know the Cylon Red? You know, the Cylon Red eye, which is also on their Cylon Raiders, the red eye. Well, here in DC, it's got the red, you know, going back and forth on the buses. So when I was a kid, being a huge Battlestar Galactica fan, one of my nightmares as a kid was that I was driving. Okay, I was like, 3. No, maybe 5. And I was driving, which you can't do, but I would look in the rearview mirror and I would see a Cylon Raider coming, like flying after my car. So then when I got older, 20, 30 years later, and I'm working in Washington, D.C., and I see a bus in the rearview mirror and it has that eye going back and forth. So, yeah, kind of scary. Alrighty. So this is not the German restaurant. This is I think this is an Italian restaurant here. This is Bistro Cacao, French cuisine. Lovely. Here on Massachusetts Avenue. We'll have to try this one out. And then the one we're going for is Cafe Berlin. Cafe Berlin looks dead and could be closed. Yeah, they're not open on Mondays or Tuesdays. So some restaurants around here not open on Mondays or Tuesdays because they're open, that's their only days off. So this is good old Cafe Berlin with a really good German menu, obviously. But we'll have to come back because today's Tuesday. And this is a closed on Mondays and Tuesdays place. So there's that. But I'm so glad to have walked up here. And thank you all for joining me. I do appreciate it. I am going to look at the menu here at the French place. French? What did I say? French. Oh, it's hard to see here. So they're open from 5 to 9:45 with kind of a set dinner menu. Yeah, we definitely missed happy hour. Happy hour was an hour ago. Haha, yeah, no hamburgers in Berlin, that's for sure. This place looks lovely. It's a little late. I might go back to the Union Pub. Actually, I think I'm going to go back to my car and make my way home, as I should. So I want to thank everyone for joining me today. Daryl especially. Ben, Tay, I'm so happy you joined us. Alendria, thank you so much for joining us. And Juan and everyone who came to join me on my little wanderings through Washington, D.C. I hope everyone has a wonderful week ahead. And I look forward to seeing you again on one of my little adventures. Have a good night. Be good and take care.